Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to let me repeat, the Rock and Roll Podcast. Check out this record. My name is Frank, and with me is my good buddy, Mark.
Hey, Frank, and hello, listeners. We've got a very special episode for you this evening. Tonight, along with our usual musical rambling, we're going to pay a brief tribute to none other than Anthony, don't call me Tony, Wilfred Brimley.
That's right, Mark. R.I.P. Mr. Brimley. Thank you for joining us. We are syndicated via Redline Radio LLC, and you can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
Apple Podcast. Be sure to grab a big old bowl of oats, make your way over to YouTube, and you can see all the goofy faces and shenanigans we get up to while trying to make this podcast just for you.
That's right. And for any new listeners out there, there's a podcast where Mark and I recommend albums to each other and we review them. Plus, we have a wide variety of musical discussions, like our Spotlight series, where we dig into a band's catalog and see what comes out the other side.
Yep. Or in our Verse series, where we'll pit two albums against each other for total stereo domination.
Love it. Love it. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and our new Facebook group. We like to drop additional content that will hopefully leave you wanting more of our musical goodness and, of course, Mark's random nonsense.
Nonsense.
Love it. Love it. So if you have a record you want us to check out, drop a comment wherever you find us. While you're at it, subscribe, give us a like, a review, a rating. So I say this, as I always do.
Say it.
Mark, how are you, my man?
Frank, this has been a sad week with the passing of the legendary man of film and television, Mr. Wilfred Brimley. From his iconic roles on the silver screen, including one of my favorite horror movies of all time, The Thing, to his public service announcements about the dangers of diabetes. It's a dark time, my friend. Now, I'm sure the real WB wouldn't want us to cry. So why don't we move on to some musical discussions and whatnots?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. Listen, Wilfred wouldn't want us to be like that at all. Real quick, he seemed like everyone's grandfather, and he seemed like a very nice and kind and loving man. He seemed old back when Cocoon was going on, so I'm glad he was around this long. I loved him in The Natural. And a fun fact, Mark, real quick, he was described as a fine singer with a warm, rich voice. And in '93, Brimley sang with the Cal State Northridge Jazz Band for a concert benefiting the college's Jazz Endowment Scholarship Fund. And in 2004, he released This Time, The Dream's on Me, an album of jazz standards. So we all be rest in peace and thank him for stopping by in life, sir. So we're talking records, my man. And for those playing at home, actually, you know what? The other day, Mark gave me a play-by-play rundown of the movie Rambo's Last Stand. And
Last Blood.
Yeah, Last Blood. I said Last Stand.
It was that memorable, folks.
It was that memorable. If you were to take a picture of the sequence of conversations we had, there'd probably be about 50 plus pictures. If anyone is really interested in seeing those, let us know. But thank you for that laugh the other day, Mark.
You're welcome. I couldn't tell you why I was drawn to watching none other than the director's cut of Last Blood, a movie I blissfully avoided previously. And knowing Frank was a Stallone fan, I reached out to him and then realized Frank hadn't seen it either, as you can tell by him not even knowing the title of the film.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, I decided to give Frank a complete play-by-play of the text. Or by text of the film. I don't know that calling it a film is the right thing to do, but anyways, it's pretty silly stuff. We'll leave enough comments and we'll post anything that's not going to get us sued. Or who knows, maybe we'll do one of them as some bonus content on YouTube or something.
There you go.
We'll pick a movie for me to make fun of and watch Frank laugh at me doing so.
Yeah, as he reacts to it. Maybe I was thinking of X-Men Last Stand. Is that kind of how
I think that's what that was called.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But, shame on me, though, man. Jeez.
Has Stallone been in an X-Men movie? I know you're the Stallone head.
No.
He was in Guardians of the Galaxy Part Dos?
He was?
Oh, maybe.
Was he?
Maybe I'm the Stallone head.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Jeez. I don't know. He was in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Yeah.
Which is a good one. But Mark, I brought up John and his Rambo because it's a movie and we always talk music, but perhaps let's take a minute to talk about both. So let's do a top 10 list.
Sure.
of our favorite movie soundtracks. So we're going to have some overlap here, I'm sure, because we like a lot of the same stuff. So this is really any movie that has songs in it, whether it be a score or a song during the film, whatever it is. Let's say we do that. What do you say, old pally pal?
I do see myself, but folks, you know that we're in for a good time, as a little bit of a bad movie enthusiast.
Yes.
So, yeah, this will be fun.
And real quick, that made me think of that time you bought the 2-pack of Mario Brothers and Masters of the Universe. I remember that.
I don't know that it was a 2-pack, but I definitely bought both of those movies in the same night, and it definitely didn't pay more than $10 for them. So, with that said, why don't you kick us off with your number 10 choice, or however we're numbering?
We'll alternate it for sure. And of course, for me, these are no particular order. Many of mine are scores, and I associate them a lot with my youth. Hence why we're going for older films and some animated flicks. But the first one here on my list is Wizard of Oz. Besides being an incredible film, the songs I always liked, from Over the Rainbow, Follow the Yellow Brick Road, and If I Only Had a Brain, just a classic fantasy soundtrack that gives memories to my youth. But that's what I have coming in at number 10 here. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, so a very similar movie to that at number 10 for me is Pulp Fiction. Those movies, I mean, they're basically interchangeable. I remember this being one of the first soundtracks I really bought. It's really fun. Tarantino does a great job of using music in his movies to build world and to put the viewer right in touch with where the character is emotionally. I think it's a great job. It has just this awesome soundtrack. And it's got like Kool and the Gang doing Jungle Boogie, like everyone remembers that. Dusty Springfield, Son of a Preacher Man, Al Green's Let's Stay Together, and of course, Chuck Berry's You Never Can Tell. So great movie, great soundtrack. That's number 10 for me, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, and on a side note, he always, obviously, especially displayed in that movie, he placed those songs just right at the perfect moments in there. So that was amazing. I know this is a mutual one on our list here. Number 9, Blues Brothers. My old man used to sing me the songs like Everyone Needs Somebody. I'll be honest, I know it's on your list for sure, and I won't do it justice with the description. So when you get to your list, whatever Mark says, that's exactly my take on it. So
all right, that's fair. No,
number 9 is Blues Brothers.
I disagree with you, but you're clearly right. For me, number 9 is Forrest Gump. If you think of a movie, if you think the movie is long, just wait until you put on the soundtrack.
2 CDs at the time; it was 2 discs.
For better or for worse, it's an education in classic rock. You get everything from Dylan to The Doors, Simon and Garfunkel, Randy Newman, to Leonard Skinner. Honestly, I could go on for like a day and a half on how long this thing is, but it's jam-packed and it's so good. Very cool if you're hanging out with your dad, but it does get a little long. That said, it was used amazingly in that movie. They found a way, no matter what Tom Hanks was doing, there was a music cue that fit the times, that put the viewer right in the movie, and you knew exactly where you were, exactly what was happening emotionally within the movie, within time, with whatever was going on. It was really just something special. That's my number 9 pick, Forrest Gump.
Love it. Number 8 is Transformers, but the 1986 animated film. Let me clear my throat.
Let me clear my throat.
There you go.
Is that how that goes?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly what I'm going to sing right now. So, so you've got the touch, you've got the power, and we can't forget about there. Better believe you can survive. I mean, listen, this is total 80s goodness. Oh, Weird Al's There to Be Stupid is on there as well. I think I made my point. Boom.
Yeah. So for me, at number 8, we have the classic musical Grease. I watched this a ton in middle school and in high school, thinking girls were into it. Didn't help. And I can't believe I thought any of those actors were actually in high school. But
they're like 30 years old in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, look, the songs really work. It was a fun way to imagine the 50s. Plus, I needed to mention John Travolta and Fuck Saturday Night Fever and all of its disco shit. Frank?
Grease was going to be one of the ones I was going to put on my list too. And
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, I was a big fan growing up as a child of the less popular but big cult following Grease 2, because I
Because you
liked
have a crush on Michelle Pfeiffer.
that, and yes, well, yes, mainly that, but but I liked how the T-Birds were a little meaner for some reason in that, and if
Ooh,
I
okay.
always was in a Ramones style band, I would want them to be called the T-Birds. So anyway,
Okay.
good picks on there, good picks.
Thanks.
For me, number 7, Eddie and the Cruisers. So this is another film of my youth that I was fond of, very fond memories. When seeking the soundtrack, they wanted something that sounded like Dion and the Belmonts, having elements of the Doors. Now, this is a tale of a Jersey bar band, and it's just that. And what came to mind is the boss, right? Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. So they found John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band from Providence, Rhode Island. Say that a couple of times fast. John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Mark, real quick, say that for me.
John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band?
Something like that.
John
Yeah.
Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band.
John Cafferty and the I was going to say Zach Brown Band, but no, the Beaver Brown Band from Providence, Rhode Island.
It wasn't the Brown Beaver Band. It was the Beaver Brown Band.
Yeah, it was Winona's Big Brown Beaver Band.
From
John Cafferty,
New Hampshire?
From Vermont. Okay.
Oh.
One of those. But listen, they put together tracks like On the Dark Side, Tender Years, Down on My Knees, and Wild Summer Nights. Really a great job, fantastic job about painting this picture of this Jersey bar band, which is what they were going for. Good stuff, good memories, Eddie and the Cruisers. Mark?
You know, I've never seen that. I think that's going to have to go on the soon-to-watch list for me.
Yeah, and there's a sequel, Eddie Lives.
Ooh. Wait a minute. You mean for the ending, he could have died?
Could have.
At number 7, American Graffiti.
Oh, beautiful.
I love a good hangout movie, and that's the setup for this George Lucas film. Sorry, it's hard to not think about Star Wars with that asshole's name. It's just kids cruising for babes. The radio in 1962. You get everything from Buddy Holly to the Beach Boys, more Chuck Berry, some Fats Domino. I think the soundtrack holds up better than the movie. Not that the movie has like too many cringy things. It's just a really good soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know, that's number 7 for me. American Graffiti. Cool cars, cool soundtrack.
I mean, influenced the idea of Happy Days. So you know
what they say, Frank?
What?
Monday, Tuesday, Happy Days.
Wednesday, Thursday, Happy Days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know the rest of that song.
Yeah. So next, this will make my wife happy with her John Cusack obsession, but Grosse Point Blank. It's a great soundtrack. Listen, it encompasses John's love for punk and ska. You have The Clash, Violent Femmes, English Beat, The Specials, The Jam, and more. You had me at all those right there. So it's a fun movie, and it's a great soundtrack.
Yeah. So for me, number 6 is going to be the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Ooh.
Come on, man. Do the time warp with me. It's the perfect mashup of B-horror movies, musical, and confused sexual identity. How could it not be on my list? I mean, honestly. Come on. Science fiction double feature sets the perfect tone for this just campy romp. I'm smiling just thinking about it. Plus, I owe this movie a big thank you. Not just for Tim Curry's fantastic performance. I took a girl to see this in the theater who had no idea what Rocky Horror was and what to expect from a live, not a live, a theatrical viewing of it with people going crazy and shit. And she got pissed off at me and stormed out, and that didn't work out. So thanks, Rocky Horror.
Salute, Rocky Horror. well, my number 5 is a similar name, but it's Rocky, the Stallone films, but collectively everything. And I know that's a cop out because I just added like five albums to the mix here. But on our Instagram page the other day, I showed how I found the soundtrack at my parents' house, and I was very stoked about that. Listen, the score is awesome. It's very inspirational, very motivational. I'm including all the Rocky films, so obviously it's Gonna Fly Now, Eye of the Tiger, Easy Way Out, Hearts on Fire, all that stuff. Good stuff. Love it. Boom. There you go.
Are you gonna put on some Rocky soundtracks when you're in the gym next?
I might actually.
Okay, dude, that'd be so cool.
I know. I think I should.
So number 5 for me is going to be the Beatles and Magic Mystery Tour. This might have been the first exposure I got to a concept album, and of course the music rocked. And the movie was fun. It was totally entertaining. I was definitely all of like 9 or 10 when I saw this for the first time. And it just sucked you in. And as far as it being a soundtrack, I mean, it's the fucking Beatles. Like, how much better can it get? It's just so much damn fun. Definitely the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour. And honestly, I hate to cop out compared to Frank's last answer, but any of the Beatles movies in this place,
there you go,
will really just make you smile, because they're just so good.
Hard Day's Night and Help, I mean, those are technically companion pieces to the films. Yeah. Good call. Number 4 for me is going to be Singles. I mean, listen, it was between this or Reality Bites. You can't get more 90s than that. The Singles soundtrack really at the time featured a who's who of what was going on at the time. So, I dug that. Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Mother Love Bone, Soundgarden, Mudhoney, and we get 2 Paul Westerberg songs. So Singles, if I had to pick one from the 90s between that and Reality Bites, Singles, number 4.
My number 4 choice from the 90s, High Fidelity. Come on.
Oh, come on.
We stole this list idea from
High Fidelity, yes.
You knew it was going to be on one of our lists. Man, I just wanted to be John Cusack's character, Rob, when I saw this. I wanted to run a record store with a couple goofballs and make love to women who were just way out of my league and not understand why I couldn't maintain relationships with them. That said, the soundtrack rules. It's got that said, even it's got the Velvet Underground on it, and you all know how I feel about the Velvet Underground. But it's still amazing. You get everything from the Vaselines doing Jesus Wants Me for a Sunbeam. You get Smog's Cold Blooded, Old Times. You get Ann Pebbles doing her classic I Can't Stand the Rain. Most folks know that from Missy Elliott singing it, but you got to check out that OG. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Of course, we get great Elvis Costello and the Attractions with the number Shipbuilding. And my favorite track, the Kinks doing Everybody Gotta Be Happy. Gonna Be Happy. Just fun tracks and a cool-ass movie. That movie's just so damn cool.
Yeah. We have when back in the day when we got married, we merged our movie collection. We each had a copy of it on DVD, so we actually have 2 at the house. So there you go. Number 3, this is a movie I've mentioned to you a lot. It's called Sing Street. I love it. Listen, there's these kids in Ireland in the 80s that are influenced by the music that's going on, and the kid starts a band to impress a girl. The soundtrack has a really tasteful mix of original songs done by the band and what's heard in the movie. Some of the songs done by the band are songs called Riddle of a Model and Drive It Like You Stole It, and also that features Motorhead, The Jam, Cure, Joe Jackson, Hall & Oates. And side note, it to me has one particular scene where they're rehearsing the song that I mentioned, Drive It Like You Stole It, and they wanted to recreate the Enchantment Under the Sea dance in Back to the Future. And the lead singer imagines during this performance that everything in his life comes together from the music that they're currently performing. The girl he adores is there, his family and their struggles are resolved. I cannot tell you how that really summed things up for me, where I would imagine myself playing music to those in my circle and all concerns would go away. So all that mixed in really is just absolutely awesome. So Sing Street comes in at number 3 for me.
Yeah, so again, this is so weird how our movies are just paralleling each other. Number 3 for me is Pink Floyd's The Wall. When I was younger, this movie scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. By the time I hit college, though, I thought it was just a giant overrated hunk of shit like Tommy's Pinball Wizard. But now I have to tell you, it's a smart concept album. The movie really works. They managed to tell a story, even if a good portion of it's animated flowers fucking into a dystopian imaged future that really sends mixed signals about whether or not the band's into Nazi paraphernalia or sympathizers. It's kind of weird and hard to figure out, especially when you're a kid. But it works. You got to understand that, they're just trying to tie the English version of what happened in World War II to what's going on with the rest of us. It's like your dad, well, not Frank's dad. It's like the rest of our dads trying to deal with the fact that they went to Vietnam. So number 3, Pink Floyd's The Wall. It rocks. It's got really cool, weird imagery. All that other crap I spewed out.
There you go. And my dad would have been too young actually or too old to have gone to Vietnam. He was so older. He would have been in that. I don't know what he would have been in at the time, but yeah, good points on that one. Roger Waters is always a difficult person to try to figure out. So go have fun trying to figure that one out. Number two for me, and I actually did see this on vinyl at my at the parents' house too, which I'm gonna have to nab, is the Muppet movie. So Jim Henson and his crew did an unbelievable job with bringing the Muppet universe to the big screen and having great songs to go along with it. They are deep and impactful, like the tear-jerking, the Rainbow Connection. I know everyone tears up to that. Don't deny that people don't. Moving right along, can you picture that? And the reclusive and desolate. I hope that something better comes along. The soundtrack is honestly, it's therapy for my heart, man. But here, Muppet movie number two.
There you go. This next one, I got to burp.
Nice. That's some really good depth to it, man.
Thank you. I've been working on it. Anyways, number two for me is definitely a childhood memory of mine. It was a big player in the house. We had only a couple of video cassettes. This was one that we played to death. My mom had the soundtrack of this. It's Good Morning Vietnam.
I know you love that movie.
I really love this.
I know you do.
A big one growing up. Robin Williams was a family favorite. That guy couldn't do anything wrong for us. And the fact that this movie has so much amazing music in it, it's just perfect. If you've ever wondered where all of my personality, short of the punk rock stuff, comes from, it's pretty much this movie and me wanting to be Adrian Cronauer.
There you go.
Robin Williams movie. This movie is dark and sad. Is a dark and sad look at Vietnam War. And with my dad being a Vietnam vet and not knowing him until I was a teenager, I took a lot of what I assumed him to be from the other characters of this movie. That said, the soundtrack's funny and totally rules. You get Martha and the Vandellas doing Nowhere to Run. You get the Beach Boys, I Get Around. You get the Searchers doing Sugar and Spice. James Brown, I Got You, I Feel Good. And probably my favorite track, the Marvelettes, doing Danger, Heartbreak, Dead Ahead, which is just like every fucking thing that's great about Motown in one song. And of course, the movie and the soundtrack both end with probably one of my all-time favorite songs, Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. It's perfection. I mean, and it's
beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Well said, my man. All right, my number one is, and this is my favorite Disney film too. It's Pinocchio, right? So it's not for the lighthearted at times. We really get here the perfect archetypal structure here with temptation and of course the donkeys, which is weird, and we mentioned that. But however, there's some really potent tunes here, like When You Wish Upon a Star, Give a Little Whistle, Hi Dilly Dee, I Got No Strings. These are songs again my father used to sing to me. I know the movie itself is not for everyone, but it's without a doubt for me. So Pinocchio.
It's a classic movie. I can't disagree with that. So you guys heard Frank mention it above. We're going to talk about it now. My number one, and if it's not your number one, you're wrong. It's the Blues Brothers.
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying not to cry, Frank.
I know, dude.
Just kidding. This is easily one of my favorite movies of all time. The cast is perfection. The performances, both musically and comically, are flawless. From the long, drawn-out gags, like driving through a mall to get out of the parking lot, to a quick little one, like a shot of Bill Murray asking for Miss Piggy doll right before they crash through a wall behind him to escape said mall. It's kind of perfect. It's got amazing cameos from more than just Bill Murray. We get legends like Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, James Brown. But let's not forget the amazing John Candy in one of his subtly funniest roles as Burton Mercer. Orange Whip, 3 Orange Whips. Then, of course, there's the band themselves, right?
Yes.
You get the legendary Donald Duck Dunn on bass.
Oh, I love saying that name.
If the shit fits, wear it. And then you get Willie Too Big Hall on drums. So, Jake, you're out. You're free. You're rehabilitated. What's next? What's happened? What are you going to do? You got the money you owe us, motherfucker? I absolutely love it.
I love that part.
So before I literally quote everyone in the band,
love it.
Donald, excuse me.
I forget there's Blue Lou.
Murph Dunn on keyboards and tambourine, Steve the Colonel Cropper on guitar, Matt guitar, Murphy on guitar, Tom Bones Malone on trombone, Blue Lou Magoo on the sax, Alan, Mr. Fabulous himself, Ruben on the trumpet, and of course Dan Aykroyd on vocals and harmonica, John Belushi on vocals and cartwheels, motherfucker. Of course, we can't forget Cab Calloway as the soulful Curtis singing Minnie La Mucha. The credit here goes to the band on all of these amazing performances, and to Dan Aykroyd and John Landis for putting the story together. It flows so perfectly from the tunes to the jokes and back again. Plus, we can't forget Carrie Fisher as the scorned woman in love with Jake, who will go to no ends to put him down. I'm laughing at the image of her with that flamethrower on her back. It's amazing.
It's beautiful.
It's one of those movies that the soundtrack holds up. The action holds up. The laughs hold up. Nazis falling off of bridges always holds up. It's just amazing. So for me, the number one pick, soundtrack, music with movie, or movie with music in it.
Whatever you want to call it,
Blues Brothers, yeah. Whatever this top 10 list was, they win.
Mark and I get super defensive with the Blues Brothers, super defensive with those who haven't seen it, and for those who have seen it, and and for those who have seen it and don't like it. Pee Wee Herman is in that scene too, by the way. Yes. Mr. Fabulous is I know.
All day.
When the members of the band pass away too, like Donald Duck Dunn and Mac Guitar Murphy, we at least need a couple of days to get over it, Mark and I. So Mark said it.
What kind of music you guys have here?
We play both kinds. We play country and western.
I didn't know I was setting them up to finish that line.
No,
but I did a great job.
And I actually wrote a song that had that title as the name of the song too. So instant classic. Bob's Country Bunker. Country Bunker. So. Oh man, beautiful. Well, that was a really good list, man. And we're featuring on this week's episode a band and a record that Mark found by going down the old rabbit hole, music of discovery, and what came out on the other end is this band and record. So, Mark, two things. One is, I know you like a good hole. And number two, tell us a little bit about this band and record that we're looking at.
Sure. Well, I'll address these as you propose them. One, Busted. And two, absolutely. So this is the Frights. They were formed in 2012 in San Diego. Yes. And as, quote, as a time-killing project after graduating from high school, unquote. They merged musical styles together like surf, punk, and doo-wop, resulting in tunes that managed to be, quote, catchy, aggressive, and playfully ridiculous all at once, end quote. So for the record, their second full length, You're Going to Hate This. The band consists of Jordan Clark on lead guitar and backing vocals, Mark Finn on drums, Richard Dotson on bass and backing vocals, and do you know how to say this last name, Frank? Mikey
Carnevale
on rhythm guitar and lead vocals. Yep. So the album was released on the independent label Dangerbird, February 12th of the year 2016. What were your initial thoughts, Frank?
Yeah. So initial thoughts, which is this is unprocessed, raw, surfy, and garage style sound with harmonies. I like it. Mm-hmm. I saw punk as a label, and I thought we were going to just get a rehash of like a 90s punk band, and we didn't, and I was thoroughly impressed. So I'm anxious to talk about the tunes with you, but yeah, initially all those things put together, I was like, this is something unique here. This is something we're not going to get on every record. So
yeah, right. So right from the jump, you're definitely going to get something different. The cover is an image of a woman most likely being slapped by a horse.
That's what I took it as.
Yeah. I love how moody and rich this record is. So let's jump in. The Frights, You Are Going to Hate This, track 1, All I Need. I love the count off here, like we're launching a fuzzy sonic rocket. There's a lot of cool, subtle touches here, like the sound of a beer can opening as a cue for the tempo to pick up. And there's a really fun wah-wah pedal solo that kind of just bends the guitar all over the track. It's really cool. And I really like, we'll get into it a little later, his use of lyrics. This song's great. The harmonies on here are great. What do you think, Frank?
Yeah, cool opening song. A lot of influences here on display right off the bat. We get Misfits. I did hear some Green Day. I hear some Neutral Milk Hotel. And of course, those doo-wop breakdowns in the middle. It's a really cool touch. And you don't hear that today in today's songs. It's an all-around fun tune to open things up. There's a teeny tiny downside though, and that is that the vocals reminded me and the verses of Chris Farron of Fake Problems. And although I think they're way superior, I do think Farron and Fake Problems, and especially Farron's solo stuff, they're vastly overrated. But thankfully, though, the good news is that feeling didn't last long, because once I heard the whole song and everything about it, I said it's way superior. So again, that moment lasted for a second, but overall, very impressive opening tune. Yeah. We get into track 2, Kids. So that Fake Problem vibe, it carried over a little bit, but again, it as soon as I felt it, it went away by the quality of the song. This is full of really subdued anger and angst all around. It's coming of age of sorts, very vibrant and upbeat. But if you like those rebellious and introspective lyrics mixed with light fuzz rock sound, there you go. This is for you.
Yep. I love the flow on this album. The songs kind of blend and bleed into each other seamlessly where they want to. I think Frank nailed it. This song is just such a great tribute to how fucked up growing up is, and how our relationships, not just with our parents, but definitely with our parents, can be such a love-hate situation. I love how honest and upbeat this is. They've gotten away with a much darker number, I think, given the content of this song, but they kept it kind of light and buzzy, and I really just dug that. Up until the cheerful end where it kind of playfully falls apart.
Yeah.
So track 3 is Afraid of the Dark. Again, just this really cool transition using a fun little bridge into the song, and then just completely getting away from it and going a different direction. It's so danceable, yet introspective and dark. The Frights really sell this aesthetic of a catchy, self-deprecating, and cathartic sound. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, I really dig this tune. I like how audible the bass is and that the drums holding things down throughout the whole song. The clean guitars and like the spooky little intricate background sounds, they really fit in this song. It fits the name, The Frights. It's well crafted. It's much more than what the title says, and the live version is also really cool too, and even has more of the live version to me even had more of a little soft surf rock vibe. Again, really, really cool tune. Then we get to a tune I really liked, was Puppy Knuckles. The song's music does not represent the title, which is really, really cool. It's like I'm 4 songs in and I don't know what to expect from them for each song, and I absolutely love that. I don't know what I'm going to be getting next. Again, the fuzz just gets you right where it matters, and I can picture listening to this tune walking in the dark with headphones and being not only reflective but at peace. It's a very, very unique song, the way it was written, in my opinion. I gripe all the time about surface level lyrics, and not everything has to be 7 layers deep. So this displays it. It could be quite simple as long as the rest of the song is on point like this. So I really dug Puppy Knuckles.
Yeah, I love that we go from talking about being in the dark to feeling like we're in a dark place.
Right.
And then they're able to kind of build brightness and lightness through the music, and then just kind of slam you back with this gorgeous, intentionally slower rhythm that's meant to keep you kind of off balance. Yet there you are, rolling your shoulders and nodding your head to the rhythm. It's kind of pure bliss. Part of what works so great about the album is the simplicity of the lyrics. I have a line here. When I see you talking with your hips, I know you're going insane. I mean, come on, that's fucking awesome. I love this track, man. So moody, so dark. Just a really great representation. Something like a title of a band called The Frights. This just really fits in with what they were, or with that title. So track 5 is called Tongues. Yeah, there you go. So this is possibly my favorite track. They managed to pull you onto the beach and right into the sun. You can feel the angst of youth in the relationship so perfectly with Mike Cavalli's lyrics. Do you think I'm cute? It's too late to check. You've already got your tongue against my neck. this wasn't a problem I had as a young man, but it's a sentiment of getting something more than you wanted and not understanding it is so well articulated. I think this song is really smart despite its simplicity.
Yeah, it's another unique and distinctive song, I think, for this band. Again, I didn't know what to expect after the last track. It's almost like these last two tracks were polar opposites of the first two we heard. And even though this was like 4-something songs ago, musically, it feels like a long time. Again, it keeps you guessing. It's so interesting what you're going to be receiving track by track. Great song, though. Haunted, another toned down track. This, I think, might be my favorite, but of course it's can probably be interchangeable. And of course the title Haunted fits with the whole Frights moniker. I really was impressed by the chorus. I'll try my best to say that it's all a waste. It's my mistake, and when the lights go out, I will close my mouth and fall asleep. Listen, I'm a lyric guy, right? I like them, but the way he sings it, I even like more. There's something cool about it. I mean, it's like the 50s crashed with this like haunting memory, and this is what it sounds like. I think this song, in my opinion, something really special here.
Yeah, it's amazing how much the Frights do with so little in this song. We're treated to this really subtle bass melody and some detached guitar notes just kind of floating somewhere in the atmosphere. And then Carnevale's voice seems to be trickling out of the speaker like a shy ghost hiding in your apartment that you didn't know he lived in before you moved into. I just assumed that this is what girls listen to when they're listening to music and laying in a bathtub surrounded by candles. I just assumed that this is the stuff. It's really cool. It does what the title says. It gives you this haunting feeling, and it's just a really, really good tune.
Yeah.
Track number 7, You or Me. Then, of course, You and Me starts like a pistol going off, and the band has a fun, upbeat surf number coming at you. The balance of this album between slow and moody songs and upbeat and fast songs and bright and loud songs, really, I think Frank will tell you, will keep you guessing.
Yeah.
And really keep the album feeling fresh and moving quite along. And this is just such a fun number. It's got to be so cool live. If this album is about knowing you're disappointing somebody, this song is a great way to tell that person that it's their fault. It's just a really smart fuck you song.
Yeah. Yeah, the song actually reminded me of a band called a song from a band called Waves with two V's. It's a very cool and short, punchy song. Again, this is where I see that kind of punk label being there in their foundation. But there's like 5 other things as well that are even more upfront than those influences. So it was one of those songs where I'm like, oh, now they're going back to this more upbeat sound that we heard a little bit earlier in the album. Again, it kept me guessing. So it was a really good tune. Growing Up is number 8. And I know our last episode we just did that was on Weezer, and seeing how their influence is shown in today's bands. I actually heard a little bit in the middle Weezer albums, and I heard in this song. Again, when there's space available, the band utilizes it and incorporates all these little weird little sounds in it, and it's intentional and it works. So, again, it was another song I liked, Growing Up.
Yeah, I could definitely hear that possible Weezer influence in there for sure. I love the way the band can build a big sound by getting really quiet and forcing the listener to just kind of press their earphones together to listen what they're doing, and then just blast you with a big sound. The lyrics are sharp and cutting, but you can feel that they cut as much for him as they do as the person they're intended for. I love that kind of songwriting, kind of introspective and honest. About what you feel at all costs. I really dig this song. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
Track number 9, You Are Going to Hate This, the title track. We get all of the keywords Frank and I have used so far. It's punky, fuzzy, surfy, and moody. The bass tones on this thing are so rich and wonderfully bouncy. I think this represents the band perfectly. I think the lyrics are simple and cut on a personal level. I only wish I could replicate personally. All that set to kind of a doo-wop backdrop, track that makes you want to dance. It's so crazy I keep coming back to this with this record, but I just want to dance to every song on this album.
Yeah, I mean, this is another move in your body song. You know, this is hanging out with your friends and back in the high school days, and eventually ends with everyone just looking at the sun rising and not knowing where the time went. It's a total tale of youth. And ironically, speaking of youth, we get then the last track, which is Of Age, and it's kind of the culmination of his main source of frustration and struggles, and is met with a lot of awareness while being very self-reflective. Musically, it's an odd-timed strumming pattern, and it gave me a little Modest Mouse vibe to it too, but super cool way to end an album. Mark?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with liking Modest Mouse, except for liking Modest Mouse.
There you go.
I can't back that up. I just wanted to say it.
Now we're going to review a Modest Mouse album at some point.
I did it to myself.
You did it.
Yeah, I love that, you know, we're kind of back at the beach with this song, you know, where tongues kind of left us, and we're waking up afterwards like you went out partying with this record. I love that this song feels like you're waking up from that. You know, you're maybe sitting on the sidewalk looking at the water with a cup of coffee, thinking about the future and everything you've done wrong. I don't really know how the sunset works over there, or sunrise works over there, because it comes up. Never mind. But I love that there's like this distinct 60s pop surf song hidden in the back half of this song. Like, they make you earn it. They make you listen to this album to see all the cool stuff that they're just going to unpeel and unpack out of it. And I really think, you know, I don't believe that this was meant to be a concept album by any means. But in terms of, you look at an album as a series of songs, these all fit so well together on this record. The record moves so seamlessly in between them, and keeps you engaged the entire time. I really dug it. Frank, why don't you give us your final thoughts before I go on a complete rant of my final thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I don't know if it's a proper concept album, but there was definitely some intent behind it for sure. And listen, this is a cool band, and I think they have lots of potential. Again, from the Dark Misfits vibe to the Modest Mouse feel, and we'll eventually now review an album because Mark wanted to. The recipe is there. I checked out some of their newer stuff too, and I dug it, and I'm very amped to hear how they continue to evolve in the future. I feel with a band like this, they will continue to push and evolve, and you're what you're going to get basically is not the same album twice. And to me, that's super cool. One downside, like I said, that will go away as they get older, is that maybe they're going to mature more, right? So we're going to get out of then that high school and adolescence stage, which is not a bad thing. But remember, I'm just speaking from someone who's now almost 40. So I guess, you know, I'm like the dad rock person now saying that. The Fake Problem similarity I addressed earlier, but that was honestly, that feeling came in for a split second, went right out as soon as I heard that these were higher quality songs. So yeah, I dug it. I'm excited for their future. Think that's a really, really good choice, my man, and it was a great album to listen to, man, so thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy. Woo! Point for Mark. Yeah, obviously I really dig this record. I love how they kind of molded the album around the themes of the title track and give us a really cool, very moody record. I feel like we're going to hear more from these dudes really grow over the next few years, as we've already begun to see with the releases since this one. They made great use of the studio here, letting their gear push them into whatever soundscapes they wanted to form. I'm waiting for this record in the mail.
Nice.
Just a cool record. I've already put this on a dozen times in my headphones, turned it all the way up. I just really listened to the nuances of it. Really, really fun record to get into. So I'm happy you dug it, man. I'm happy.
Yeah.
What are we doing next week?
Yeah, great suggestion. All right, so now it's my turn to recommend something. I felt like I haven't done that in a while, so I'm gonna throw a little bit of an oddball album, and that something is the Get Up Kids 2002 release, On a Wire. Now, you know, the Get Up Kids are one of my favorite bands.
Sure.
This is an oddball in their catalog. So coming off the success of the seminal Something to Write Home About, fans just thought they would continue with their pop punk and emo tunes, but they didn't at all. They threw a huge curveball and abandoned it completely, and possibly killed some of the momentum that they had. Now, I dig this record and I appreciate what they did, and I would love to hear what you think about it, because they added some definitely, I think, more of a rock feel, and it was a risk. It was a risk, and I remember seeing them in concert during that tour, and when they were playing those songs, I was digging it because I liked the album and no one was into it. So I want to hear your thoughts on that record.
Yeah, I think people are always kind of surprised when I don't know a lot of the Get Up Kids. I definitely know something to write home about, but for whatever reason, I don't remember moving on to many other albums.
Yeah. So it's gonna be cool that I'm excited to get your take on it.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Cool, man. Well, hey, that's all we have today. Thank you for joining, everyone. Remember, like, subscribe, drop us a line to review an album, especially now that Modest Mouse album that Mark, made us said so we can review. Follow us on Instagram. I trust you. There's going to be fun stuff coming up on there. Join us on Facebook. And until next time.
Listen, if you make me listen to the shitty Modest Mouse record, or like the worst Modest Mouse record, I'm talking to you, the listener. I want your opinion. What's the best one? Frank and I will do this. I should have kept my mouth shut. What do you think I should listen to? Because here we go. And for one last time, because he meant the world to us, R.I.P. Wilfred Brimley.
That's right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye to be